What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing a trailer breakdown for episode 8 of American Horror Story 1984. So without wasting a lot of time, let's jump right into it. So one of the things I think this first shot really shows us is they're still going to be pushing forward with the concert despite what happened in last night's episode, which I'm hopeful is the case because one of the things this season needs is a gigantic set piece, and having a rock concert where people are getting slaughtered in the final battle and everything else is going on next episode, that would be really awesome. Of course, I don't think that's really going to happen. That seems like too big of a set piece for this show, and they're just going to allude to it. Everything is going to take place before the start of the concert, and then it's just going to get canceled and go down in history as, you know, some kind of massacre or whatever they're going to do with the episode.
Hey man, who you with? Satan. Right on.
The next scene here I really like, and one of the things that this trailer brings is some of that classic American Horror Story comedy. I mean, there's really not a whole lot to say here or really break down. I just really like the line and how it just kind of plays off all the blood and massacring that we've seen throughout this entire season, and the focus on pacts with the devil and all this other stuff with the Night Stalker and Mr. Jingles and everything else that they've told us, but just kind of brushing it off and kind of giving it a passing joke. And that's honestly one of the reasons I love this show so much. It's not just blood and gore. It's not just disturbing scene after disturbing scene. There is a lot of lighthearted moments, and I feel like that's one of the reasons so many people continue to gravitate towards it.
Every horror movie has a final girl. Final girl?
So with this scene, it really looks like they're leaning very heavily into the whole final girls slasher theme that they were promising us this entire season. And while I have talked about it in the past, I really feel like they're focusing too much on the devil, the ghosts, and everything related to the haunting of Camp Redwood. I'm liking that at least at the very end, they're setting up those tropes.
The one who survives it all and lives to tell the tale.
And it seems like they're making it really on the nose for what it's worth. The final girl, the final showdown, and everything else that we're going to see here just in a second. Which is one of the reasons why I feel like next week is definitely going to be the climax of the story. And then episode 9, the last episode this season, is just going to be kind of an epilogue of the story. I mean, that's kind of what they do every single time anyway, so why would this be any different? But it really does beg the question to everybody who's listening to this. Are they moving too fast with this part of the season? We kind of had the first 5 episodes dealing with one story, but then we jumped into something completely different. We've only been dwelling into that story for the past 2 episodes, and we're getting directly into the next climax of the story within the 3rd episode of the start of that story. So is it too quick, or is it just right? No filler, no fat, just get directly to Camp Redwood, have everyone fight each other, and hopefully cross your fingers for a somewhat satisfying ending.
I'm gonna end you in this place.
And this just kind of plays into exactly what I was talking about. You have the final showdown playing out in the next episode, where we're going to get to see the Night Stalker versus Mr. Jingles. And even as I said before in this video, it looks like it's happening at the very beginning of the day. We're not going to get into the concert, and they're not going to give us that huge set piece, which is kind of a letdown, because that's one of the things I've been really wanting throughout this entire season is a big slasher film set piece that only American Horror Story could give us. I imagine that's going to cost way too much, and they didn't want to put it into the budget, but you know, fingers still crossed. Maybe we are going to be getting something like that in this episode, but I doubt it. And again, I just want to say, the fact that they're leaning so heavily into this, the final girl, the final showdown, all this other stuff, I mean, this is the climax of the story after all.
They're dead, Courtney. Kaja Gugu is dead.
And again, this is just further proof, as well as kind of funny material that they put at the end of every single trailer that ultimately just points to the fact that we're not getting the concert next week, and that's kind of a letdown. One of the things I'm still crossing my fingers for is just the aliens. One of the things I wanted from the beginning of this season, even before they announced it, was I want them to focus on aliens, and I want there to be a reason it's called 1984, and I don't want it to be just solely related to the ghosts and Satan and everything else that we've seen throughout this entire season, and other things that have been just a bedrock throughout this entire show. I want them to shake it up a little bit and just having aliens, especially aliens who are watching people. And one of the reasons they're all stuck in the camp, because aliens are literally watching, like James Orwell's 1984. They're analyzing, no one really has free will, and all this other stuff. That would be really interesting, especially when you're focusing on killers and places where massacres happen, everything. They're just looking at us like animals, and they're trying to figure out who we are, find the best of us. That's my big theory going into the end of the season, and it's something that I would really like to see. But anyway, guys, Tell me what your thoughts and opinions about this season are. This episode, promo trailer, last night's episode in general, go make sure to check out my review if you want my thoughts on last night's episode, and all my other reviews if you want my thoughts on this entire season. We're going to talk about it, especially after the show gets done, and talk about whether or not it was a success, and then we're going to start ranking all the seasons because I haven't done that on this channel yet, and it's something that I've been really wanting to do. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. It's been real.